Hey, what's up, man? You wanna play a game of rock, paper, scissors? Sure, man. Let's play that game of rock, paper, scissors, bro. Alright, let's do it. Okay, you ready? Ready as I'll ever be. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot! Yo, what are you doing, man? Put that away! Okay, I thought we were playing a game of rock, paper, scissors, shoot. You know what? Never mind. Let's play a game of Pokemon, okay? Let's spend our time doing that instead. Good? Yeah, okay, now put away that gun and let's go have some more fun. Today's topic, we're going to talk about the attributes in Taekwondo. This will help you quantify the skill level of an athlete. So let's go right to it, and I'll try to make things a little easy for you. So why did I make this gamifying Taekwondo statistics? Because it gives you a better understanding. Because well, to be quite honest with you, almost every sport have like a statistic data chart of the athlete, but Taekwondo doesn't seem to have that yet. And I'm going to try to change that by giving you guys some way to find out what level you guys are in. So the references I made in the introduction of the video is a Pokemon reference at the end. The reason I did Pokemon reference is it's a good way to make good weakness for each other, because there are things that are weak against another thing, and there's things that are strong against other things. So for example here, in Pokemon, water type is super effective against fire type is super effective against leaf type, and leaf type is super effective against water types. It's in a cycle. And of course, the dragon type is also super against another dragon type, so it goes both ways for dragon types. And we're going to be using these elements for representing our Taekwondo things. So for example, leaf is going to be represented with techniques. So Sceptile here with his leaf blade, he's going to be representing our special techniques. Water will be representative of speed. So I chose Greninja as in speed. Fire will be represented by power, because we all know Charizard is really strong. Dragon will be represented by heart and mind, which is Flygon and Salamence. Okay, so let's go straight into it. So power. There are 5 attributes in power that you need to think about. Now, when you guys judge your statistics, each one of these, try to have an idea of what level they are. For example, is the strength of this athlete or the power of this athlete a local level, state level, national level, international level, or world level? So I would say about those 5. You guys can choose your own thing to quantify your own thing. But I'm just going to give you guys the elements that are in power, for example. All right, the first thing to start off is with strength. So strength, I'm talking about like the muscle. So when you guys do like weight training and all that stuff, that increases your overall power strength, because your overall lower threshold of kicks are going to be a lot stronger than the average person's weakest kick, right? So strength is definitely going to help you a lot. The next thing for power is jumping. So the best athletes out there actually jump when they kick. So I'm probably going to put a video or show some pictures to you guys when they actually jump when they kick. In other words, what I'm trying to say here is no athlete stays still when they kick. They either move by jumping and etc. Now, if you to give you an example of high level of jumping, the people that does high level of jumping does acrobatic kicks, jumps up in the air really high, and goes over the opponent and kicks. A good example is from Jordan Ahmad Abu Ghosh, and he does this excellently, and so does Wu Jingyu from China for the female division. Now the next thing is poise. Now poise is when basically meaning that whenever you hit your opponent really hard or you get hit pretty hard, you can stand your ground, meaning you won't be moved. Poise is something that a lot of grappling martial arts has, such as judo or wrestling, but in Taekwondo, it's actually pretty important as well. So poise allows you to stand your ground and throw kicks, so you'll be like a tank and you won't be budged back and pushed backwards. Which brings us to the next one, which is defense and resistance. Now this is pretty important, because as much as a lot of people don't like to admit it, when you guys get hit, it hurts. And some people that can take more of that pain can be more aggressive because they don't feel it as much. So defense resistance training, the traditional way was, for example, Muay Thai, they'll be kicking like trees for stuff like that to increase the defense or resistance of their shin. So this is something that definitely a lot of athletes don't seem to practiced these days, but still needs to be practiced if you want to increase your overall power. Now with the new rules, you can push. So punching and pushing comes in a big role and a good play into here, because if you guys don't have enough strength in your arms and shoulder, back to push your opponent, your legs, I forgot to say legs too, yeah, your legs and all that stuff, there's no way you're going to be able to control the situation from a jamming situation. From jamming, pushing is essential. So yeah, that's power. Okay, so let's talk about technique now. So what is technique? Technique is basically, in other words, a lot of people will just say this is the skill level. A lot of athletes consider this a skill level. Of course, I'm explaining again, technique isn't everything, but I'm going to explain it real quick. So the first element is different kicks. So of course, you know that some athletes just do one technique and some athletes do a lot of different techniques. Now, of course, the athletes with a lot more choices is definitely going to have a benefit, because if the situation arises that the one kick doesn't work, then they have to change techniques. So which leads to the next one is clean kicks. So of course, we always try to perfect our kick. So that's what I mean by clean kicks. It looks pretty. It looks really clean, the kick itself. And this is actually quite essential until you become around the national level. And then the next point is actually the unclean kick, which is to be even better, you need to have an unclean kick. Because if you throw clean kicks, it's predictable. You can see the pattern of the kick, which is why we come up with like secondary kicking. So like pretending to do a certain kick, just alternate to another kick. That's what I mean by like unclean kick. You should be able to kick from whatever situation while you're falling, while you miss, or etc. The next technique of element is flowing, or flows in this case. This means that whenever you kick, you should be able to follow up through with combinations. And in other words, what I'm trying to say is by flowing is you should be able to keep going with your momentum. So don't put your momentum to waste, right? And of course, the last part is meta techniques, because in almost every single game, there is a meta. So for example, if I was to say in Yu-Gi-Oh, another card game that a lot of people might know, maybe not, there is a whole set of cards that everyone uses because it's the best of that format. And for Taekwondo, it's exactly the same, because meta represents for Taekwondo like the cuck kick. Like everybody needs cuck kick plus something else, but the cuck kick is essential. That's the meta, and that's also based for the techniques. You need to be pretty good at the meta. Okay. Now we're going to the next element. We're going attribute speed. Now speed is confused by a lot of athletes from what I can see. A lot of people think that one thing means speed, but speed means a lot of things. So let's go over it really quick. So first thing is footwork. Of course, if someone tries to hit you, if you have a really fast footwork, if they can't hit you, then, well, that depresses them, which is why power is weak against speed in this way, because no matter how hard they hit, if they can never hit you, then it's kind of depressing. So that's why footwork is important. The next thing is their kicking combination. So speed, we just talked about footwork really quick, but the next thing that's really important is the combination speed. So for example, if you throw a cuck kick, can you throw like double triples from there? Can you throw an alternate there from your cuck kick to your spinning hook kick, turning motion, whatever the case may be? So that's pretty important for speed as well. Now the next thing is the cooldown per attack. Now this is pretty important as well, because there's something called a winning pattern. So what a winning pattern means is every athlete that does extremely good keeps hitting. Even if they're not going to throw combinations, like every other seconds they throw their attack to damage and weaken the opponent. So they have to continuously throw a kick, a kick, a kick again, right? Of course, you have to do it safely and not to be stupid and just go in while you attack. I'm talking about you need to keep jabbing, moving around, keep jabbing until they're weakened down. So that's cooldown per attack. So you should be able to attack more chains than your opponent. Now the kick itself, the next part is kicking drop speed. Now whenever people practice kicking, athletes already practice this by themselves, but I don't think they're sure about this by themselves. When you kick, there's two parts of speed. One is dropping and one part is raising. So when you kick, you need to drop your legs quickly and regain balance so that you can do something else, because you can't really kick in midair for too long. You need that push from the ground, and that's why you need to drop your leg really quick after you're done with that kick. Now the next part is kicking raise speed, which I just explained. You need to, that's the opposite part. You need to lift up your legs really quick to throw that kick. Okay, now let's go to heart attribute. Now heart attribute, there's about 3. I think I put about 3 for the other one too, to be about equal. Heart is basically the bravery and the stamina aspect. So these are the kind of people that you like to call the warriors of the athletes. In situations where they know that they could be countered, they will still throw the kick. And that's what I mean by bravery mental, like the mental aspect, like they'll kick even though they know that they can get countered. Stamina wise, now that we're talking about the physical heart and the organ itself, because of course, in order to be brave and kick whenever you want to, you need to have the stamina to back it up. And that's pretty important as well. The next thing, of course, is, like I said, is instinct. Heart athletes know that whenever they see the chance, they kick it as soon as they see it. You might be able to call this tunnel vision. A lot of people call this tunnel vision, where you see something through like a tunnel and they have extremely sharp focus. So they can see that one thing and have razor sharp focus for long periods of time. So that is the heart attribute. And let's go straight to the mind attribute, which is basically put in this way. Calmness, strategy, knowledge, and outer focus. So calmness means that whenever they compete, they're able to be completely calm so that they can think well while they're competing. Some athletes don't like to think while they're sparring. Some people do. That's a huge difference between heart and mind. The mind people, they like to think while they're sparring. Now, of course, they also have a strategy. They usually, even before competing, they have a pre-strategy of what exactly to do and backup strategies to just in case if someone does this, someone does that. They always come up with these strategies by themselves. And next thing is knowledge. Now, of course, this is where usually they learn the knowledge from schools, from their Taekwondo schools, from their Taekwondo masters, and etc. Knowledge could also be learned by watching other people's games, which is why all athletes usually are forced to watch other people's games after their competition, whether they win or lose. So yeah, knowledge is important because that gives you experience. And the next thing we're going to talk about is the outer focus. Now, I pretty much explained to you guys in heart attribute that inner focus means it's like a tunnel vision. So the outer focus is the complete opposite. The outer focus is like your peripheral vision, seeing what's around your surrounding, seeing the bigger picture rather than small details. I always told some of my students when I'm in class that drawing is something that a lot of martial artists, extremely good martial artists a long time ago did back in the days, the warriors. And I think they did it because they want to sharpen the inner focus and the outer focus. So for example, if you're drawing like a human, if you're drawing the eyes, you need inner focus so that you get the details really right. But every once in a while, you got to back out and use your outer focus to see if the eye is in the proper place, if it's a proper size, right? And that's like the outer focus, like seeing the bigger picture of the entire picture that you're planning to draw. Okay, so this is a real quick review of what we just said. The attributes chain: technique is weak against power, power is weak against speed, speed is weak against technique, and heart and mind are equally weak against each other because they're like the dragons, okay? Well, next time I'm going to talk about in small details of actually making the data charts. This video, I'm just making a quick video of explaining what these attributes are so that the next video I make won't be confusing. All right, so until next time, see you guys later. Have a good life.